retakes with Tilja. You know, it's a 3-bomb site map, so you're gonna have to do more retakes than in some of the maps
100%.
that the Valorant has to offer. And right away, we're gonna have to see them use it on their attacking side. So we're not talking retakes here. We're talking taking bomb sites. So this could also be like, you know, we don't have that much strats, so we can use the lockdown and support us to get into sites. But without waiting any longer, we're now live onto Pistol. It looks like we're just testing the water outside of B here for Vaughan.
Seems like it. That tripwire is going to be their first issue that they have to deal with. I think Miara actually spotted a player. She's going to hide back site, and she's going to need some help very soon. Spike just about to go down already, Steph, and this is exactly where Vaughan want to be. 5v5, they have that post-plant util in the form of Kathleen if they still need it. They should be able to set themselves up for success, but Kathleen isn't able to actually help out. 1-for-1 trade, and the Spike is already being tapped. Shelly getting it halfway, gets off of it. This is actually really good, I have to say, for the CT side right now, because TLP have applied so much pressure to Vaughan, and this round is going so quick. Who knew that it's almost already over? Trades on the site are not exactly like the pros do it, but still that Spike is at the halfway mark. So much chaos still on the Spike, and Vaughan eventually work things out. But it's just non-stop. They're running into each other, and despite getting it halfway, TLP still lose out the round.
We knew this was going to be a close game just looking at their previous encounter. And once again, this was really well done for both teams. I'm not going to lie. I think like 5 times in this round, I thought, okay, Vaughn's got this. Oh, wait, TLP's got this. Oh, wait, Vaughn's got this again. So it came down to the last 1 versus 1 between both teams to close it out. And I think that Vaughan really, with the double flank TLP was doing, played this really well. And right away, we're gonna go into aggression, and Astralis is gonna get double kill with her frenzy. That was really well done.
Amazing. Can he make it 3? Pistols v SMGs, and apparently the pistols are reigning supreme in this case, but they need to try to deny these guns from the defenders. They're pushing up behind them. Steph, there is absolutely no safe territory at all. It's a crunch towards C long. The other 2 players coming outside towards grass. TLP will even us up very quickly. And how this round started, of course, was Astralis with a double push down long. But, I mean, just talk about 2 different styles that we've already seen just 2 rounds into this game.
Yeah, the combination of the gravity well with that jet kind of dash forwards really caught Vaughan off guard here. They did not expect someone to be there. And to just use that combo, it was really well done. And you can see that TLP Prism is ready for this. They have their little gimmicky plays already. It's round number 3. And I like the way that they came in prepared here to play this tournament.
Still early days though, right? TLP, if they can bring out crazy strats like that, this is going to be a fun game. Orb taken over towards A long. It looks like they're priming for an execute here, Vaughan. TLP Prism, I gotta say right now they're not working with a ton. They have a couple of SMGs on site which will eventually do the bulk of the work, and again it's another crunch on site. As soon as Vaughan want to push in, the difference in artillery is staggering and they lose their lives in just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, the information was given really early into this round that it was leading towards A. So pretty much everybody from Prism was either on the rotate or doubling down onto that A site. So even though Vaughan got, I think, 1 or 2 entry frags, and it was well done. But like you said, the weaponry deficiency here was too big for Vaughan, and Prism is taking away a 2nd run in a row as we're getting ready to do another long kind of presence here. Yeah, they tried to go for the orb, right? But I think the wall was messed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird wall here. A little bit of nerves, maybe, you know?
I mean, at least they get the orb nonetheless, right?
Yeah.
Run it back now available. They could push into sight, some info. That's a smoke over towards defender spawn that just went through. And I'm going to be keeping my eye on the radar actually here, Steph, and see if these rotates start coming through from the defenders. But right now, TLP Prism, they are staying completely dead set on their locations. In particular, it's Alves that we're going to be staring at because she's holding over towards A-Long, and she's going to be able to hear a lot of valuable information very soon.
Right here.
maybe even kills.
Yeah, and it's a really good spot for Alves to be in, but at the same time, she gets spotted by that
She needs help.
Sova. She does need help, or else she's gonna fall. She's able to get a kill. That's really surprising. And the rest of Vaughan is pushing that B site. A little bit of a kill exchange behind that side, but we're in a 3 versus 3 right now.
An awkward one at that, excuse me. TLP not quite treating this one as a bonus, but there's a judge in a play. I was able to get them one over towards Garage. Retake effort began. As Fane crosses the corner here, that'll be Arcane going down. 2v2, excuse me, 2v1. Vaughan, at this point, have already held on for so long. That run it back, not even fully necessary when it comes to the impact frags, as Fane is able to find 4, build up to another run it back. And that is just wild. A bit of an interesting state of affairs, it feels like, for Vaughan, because you know, it shows how they kind of dealt with situations when they're down players, but the information relay was really big, and I think Feigned being able to cross-site and take down Shelly there was a big initial pick that actually got them in, you know, into that post plant.
Yeah, I think that also the push and pull here on this map, like the way that they controlled, I would say, the earlier of the round, like getting that orb, going back to long, taking that control, and then hitting that B side was key, because TLP didn't really know where to go, and that stack and that denying of information happened a little late. We have, though, the exact opposite. Look at that minimap once again. Everybody is converging towards A. There's even a flank in spawn from our defending Phoenix. There's going to be a hell of a post-plant situation for Vaughan.
It is, but it can be dealt with a little bit more. I was going to say if Caroline could relieve some pressure towards Heaven, not going to be the case. Now Vaughan are really stuck into an uncomfortable situation. Flank no longer online from the Astra, who's in play previously, but still plenty of things to worry about. Kathleen falling to her death, eventual collapse onto the site, and that really has been just kind of the name of the game so far. Quick collapses onto the site, the lockdown being pressured, not taken out, but eventually it's going to be able to fight hard. 2 detains, but it's as Kathleen goes down. The spike is hit halfway. It's an awkward meeting, an awkward exchange. TLP, they barely hold on through that round here. That lockdown was nearly going to be the end, but they just barely hold on.
Oh my god, we talk about Kathleen here, where she could be key here because she's using that lockdown and that Killjoy. And you know what? I think if she doesn't fight that player at short, if she just hides it in the corner,
right?
2 players are trapped and she gets the round. And that would have been crazy because, like I said, I don't think Vaughan was in a good position here for a post plant. So
Here.
TLP Prism doing everything right except that moment. It gave an opportunity for Caitlyn to win that round, but unfortunately for she falls a couple of seconds, if not like milliseconds early. And yeah, and that's gonna be another round in the pocket for TLP Prism.
It's just unfortunate, too, because Vaughan, you know, it wasn't off to a good start. They lost their smoke character as they teleported in towards A Heaven, still got the spike down, and just lost by a matter of milliseconds, like you mentioned. And they're going to be taking those precious milliseconds, kind of slow down this round a little bit. Eventually, it's going to be collapsing in towards Garage around the minute mark, and Arcane going to peek out for 1 kill. It's traded out swiftly. Site will be taken. This is already better, though, than what Vaughan had worked with in the past. They don't have an unfair 5v4 or anything like that. They're able to get the spike down in a pretty even situation, albeit they have a player on low HP.
Yeah, they do have pistols, too. So let's see if they can capitalize potentially on that pressure happening in connector. Caroline getting the double!
The fact that she's able to get 2 there is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's not done yet. Australis is here to try to even up that player count, make things a little bit more manageable. As Alves gets one elsewhere on the map, Australis is still trying to fight duel, make things uncomfortable for Kathleen. Spike smoked off, the spray through, not able to become lethal, but that pistol would be a little bit of revenge for what I believe it was Caroline before. But hey, Classic never looked so good.
That was so well done. And the patience here on the trigger control. That was really, really beautiful. Unfortunately, it's not going to be enough for them to win the round, but they planted the spike. And Australis with her jet smokes scared me a little bit. I think she
Right.
kind of helped Caitlyn for a second, but thankfully she was able to get that kill to get a post plant and a defuse. And now, once again, it does feel like Vaughan is on a orb long control. Are they going to commit to this here, or are they just trying once again to pop that Phoenix ult? Well, it's already there, so that orb would be for someone else.
Well, they could also just farm the orb after this Phoenix ult comes through if they really want to keep on trying to get them up. There's a bunch of different schools of thoughts if they want to give it to other, but all the team is flooding up from Vaughan. They've gotten a kill behind her. That's Shelly down. Important intel. The thing is, Arcane is still on the board. She has taken full control of Garage, and she could be a pain in the side come this retake. For now, Vaughan, they can't stay, you know, they can't stay complacent. They need to keep on trying to trade out these frags. Caroline is going to have no issue whatsoever. She's collected 3. And we're keeping an eye on the player on logs, because surely you thought one of them was going to be able, or one of those kills would go her way, but no. Caroline getting a bit greedy, takes all 3 kills, goes up to 9 in the round, and Vaughan strike right back with a very confident round. The spike went down, right, Steph? And,
yeah,
you know, there wasn't any pressure from TOP after that, which is kind of strange considering what we've seen so far.
When they give that side, I'm okay with giving the side, but you have to make sure that you stay alive for that retake. And when that side was given, you saw Kibui. She got not a free kill, but she did win her fight into Garage. And that, it was really difficult for Prism to take back control. Tried another push here into window, but Caitlyn and everybody at Vaughan is starting to be feeling it.
Yeah, they read that. A little bit robbed by the frenzy there as well. Alves hoping to fare a little bit better with the Spectre in play. The first one crosses her path. Trigger discipline isn't there, and maybe it would have been too risky to go for it, but a 1-for-1 trade is not too terrible. 3v4? Like, I mean, it's unlikely, especially now as Caroline has found another, but that isn't the worst situation to be in. Still, though, they press on. TLP Prism at this point are just going to try to cause eco damage. The retake seems like a bit of a far cry. Maybe they can make things more uncomfortable. Not even.
Yeah, well done from Vaughan here. And I think that the momentum is not yet on either side, but after winning pistol and losing it, it's never a good situation to be in, especially on an attacking side on any map in Valorant. The rounds or the maps and the apps are so short. Like you need to have as many momentum as you want, and a Trifty is never great. So to see Vaughan here able to kind of quickly come back and get a double rounds after losing twice, 2 back-to-back rounds. You know, you can see the timeline that we just saw. Thank you to our observer. So it's looking great for them, and this time they're going into a sewer control, trying to see what's popping, what's cracking at A. Well, we still have some players holding towards mid, so it might not be the final destination.
Most certainly may not. LD committed over towards short to try to bring rotates through. There's also possibly some Garage aggression coming through, but the final destination, it does seem to be over towards B, doesn't it? Caroline ready to take the site here, but Alves is not accounted for. She's only able to find one. Caroline trades it out quickly, and once again, it's a crunch for control, which seems to be the name of the game. It's as consistent at this point. Spike is down on the B bomb site, but what can really Vaughan do from this position other than hope to use some of their util? And you know, they really need to work out a kill, but it's not come to them quite yet. Arcane bleeding internally, barely stays alive. I think she's on literally a single point of health. TOP are kind of winning this stall game right now.
And the clock is starting to kick here for Prism. 30 seconds. No one is in a flanking position. As I say that, I realize that we have our little jet here trying to make our way through Garage. I think she's just holding. You're right. Like 20 seconds left. Like Vaughan is gonna have to do something here, Kieran.
Oh, that's certainly something, isn't it?
What?
It all happened so quickly. I don't even know where that Garage kill came from, but all right, no worries at all, Vaughan. Patience certainly works out for them. I'm pretty sure what they're doing there, you know, is just waiting for that recon dart to get off the cooldown, right? To help them kind of clear out, realize that there's a crossfire on both sides, and you know, Caroline was down there. They weren't going to have any smokes to worry or to help things out. I guess they just really had to take those fights, and hey, it worked out rather well for them.
Yeah, and it's gonna mean that Prism is on a little bit of a weird buy here. Some of them have better weapons, other are just using their pistols. So we're gonna go farm that orb, and we're gonna utilize that Astra smoke to get it for free. Yeah. So I mean, that smoke is a little too close to the site for me. I would have put it a little bit deeper because, like you said, they can push now, and you exactly like that. Fane just caught Arcane off guard. So we have a war towards C who's going to be won by Vaughan, which means a 3 versus retake. Are we even going for this, or are we just containing for guns here?
I think it has to be containing for guns, right? The knives were committed. Oh no, Miara, don't pull out that drone just yet. Oh, she doesn't even get the single kill with her Sheriff in hand. Australis looking to farm as well, dies equally as quick, and they all fall into the blender, and this blender isn't beautiful. 6 rounds for Vaughan as they take a pretty... I mean, they've secured at least an even half, right? Obviously, they're going to be chasing for a little bit more. But, really, yeah, I was going to say, I think now's probably a good time for a timeout because TLP... Some of the rounds that they got previously, those 2 in a row, those came courtesy of post plants. I think Vaughan have been playing a really solid game on their attacking side so far, and really, more than anything, have been forcing TLP into uncomfortable situations. That is just so big.
And I have to say, what you said here is key, because I think that TLP, the rounds that they won, were the rounds that they were taking control of the map and the momentum, where they were pushing, where they were flanking, where they were doing something. And every single round that they've been more passive and kind of just waiting for Vaughan to do something, they've lost. So I think they need to go back to that. Remember, they won that Trifty pushing C. Remember when they were flanking and putting so much pressure towards mid, how Vaughan wasn't able to kind of hold it. So interested to see what's gonna come out of that timeout. And like you said, I think it's a really good moment to take that timeout. So hopefully they can adjust coming into that round number 11 here, as there's only 2 left in this half already.
They've had time to breathe, right? You're hoping that Vaughan have also used that opportunity. Look at this quick push behind the Omen flash. Short control already seized, and this is something that TLP were wishing they could have done. Despite the tactical pause, it looks like it's actually Vaughan who learned most from it. There's a push on towards site. Feigned holding is able to actually grab 2 on the entry, and TLP, they're completely stunned by another quick collapse. It just feels constant. Like, I know I sound like a broken record, but it really is just the playbook for Vaughan, and it has not been countered whatsoever by TLP. I long for the days of them pushing down towards C-Long. Like you mentioned, that was such a good push, but we haven't really seen that at all for the rest of the half.
Yeah, we're playing into Vaughan's game right now, and, you know, with only 2 players remaining, this is definitely a round loss in my book. So you have to think, am I trying to do some economy damage? Is it even worth it, or should I just get out of here? And one of the players is already in spawn saving, so now we're gonna have both. And it's a good thing so far, as everybody is falling from Vaughan. Miara in a 1 versus 2, and is she able to stay alive? Oh, that's awkward.
Last round before
nice little 180. Gotta, you know, apply for phase, I guess. I don't really know. It looks cute, and I like it. So lots of damage done, but you know, it's hard for me to get excited about that because Vaughan have won now 5 rounds in a row. They can easily rebuy those weapons and have more to spare. They can get all the fancy pistols that they can hope for. They have operators on the ground littering the attacker's spawn. You know, that damage kind of feels negligible at the end, especially when TLP, if you look at their side, they're struggling to make ends meet. They're on Spectres. Another C-Long push if you keep your eye on that radar, but TLP this time have no victims.
Yeah, no victim, but at least it gives so much intel. And
Control.
so much possibility in control from that. So even though there's no victim, I like this play. So as long as the rest of the TLP players can stay alive and play that post plant, we could be looking at something really good from them.
Well, that's a start. Arcane is able to find Thane just holding a corner and isn't actually occupied by anybody, but that's about where the good news ends. Kathleen, watching the flank, is able to find two. Caroline, equally as good of a situation. TLP are fighting back admirably so. Our Observer catching all the important kills. Arcane has not been fought at all towards Garage, excuse me? It's going to be a 5-7 half, a confusing one maybe. But regardless, TLP, they stay competitive. And as we enter the second half, I'm just left wondering what changed in that last round.
What changed for me was really that long push because it allowed, again, you know, so much intel and map control on Heaven is so important. You need to know where the enemies are. And what's been happening is because they were playing so passive, they were giving away way too much ground for pretty much Vaughan to play their game. So taking that long control, having a fast flank, you don't allow TLP to really Vaughan to get in post plant positions, and on top of it, you didn't lose anyone in B side. No one died there, so you were able to keep both the connector controls on each side, the C link and A link. So it was key here.
It's key, and I'm curious if you think that's actually going to help them now that they're on the attacking side. Thing is, it looks like they're moving quick, and these are the kind of pushes that we're hoping to see a lot of the time on the defensive end. It's 1-for-1 to begin. Excuse me, 2-for-1 as Becca with a couple of burst shots is able to hold down the site. This is where rotates start coming in, and TLP need to keep on trying to push for a little bit more. Again, map control, name of the game for them. And as they do it, they find another kill to farm. There's a flank coming up through short that they need to worry about very, very soon, however. So they can't get complacent. Once again, they need to keep on looking, striving for a little bit more, or else they're going to falter. Thane, there it is on the flank, is able to find one. The collapse from Kimbui is going to go ahead and really make this entire round go kablooey. Alvis, uncomfortably so, is able to keep things alive just barely for TLP Prism. But again, that just went the way that the first pistol did as well. It just kind of comes down to the wire and a solo play at the end of it to keep the dream alive.
Yeah, but what is solo play though? Alves almost caught off guard with that flash out, but she's able to capitalize on top of it, isolate that jet, and then play that 1-versus-1. I think it was versus Fiend. So TLP Prism staying in this game here. They're gonna be on a not a bonus round yet, but a better buy round than what Vaughan is gonna have. A double crossfire into sewers here. It could be dangerous because this is exactly where TLP Prism is going, but that drone, a perfect clear.
That could have been so good though. Kathleen, I was really hoping they held down the angle, but I'm sure the information was there either way. She wasn't getting spammed. This is kind of what we expected though, right, Steph? You know, TLP. Oh, lineup's a little bit off. Gotta make sure to workshop those, Becca. Either way, I mean, I'm pretty sure this is what we can expect out of a round like this. TLP with their SMGs are just, you know, just trying to get closer to their ultimates. And I think that's one thing to kind of keep your eye on is like who gets these kills, right? I think in a perfect world, you want to try to give them maybe over to your Sky or to your Astra or your Sova especially. Just so they can get closer to their respective ultimates. But right now it's been Astralis who's farming them. She's going to be able to have a Blade Storm online, I think, come round 3 if she farms an Orb or 2. Okay, that's interesting. Wow.
I don't think she's going to be able to save it, but
damage.
Yeah, you definitely did. I think it's because of your beautiful classic skin. It's I like it a lot.
She spent good money on that.
Yeah. I like when she uses the secondary fire on that classic skin. It just feels better because she's using that skin. But good round from TLP Prism, nonetheless. We mentioned it. That drone was key here. I don't think if you drone there.
Right.
I actually, if you don't drone there, I wonder what would have happened, Kieran. Like this could have been a completely different round, maybe a Thrifty. But
oh, God.
Here we have it. We have all of our TLP Prism with SMGs kind of holding around the attacking spawn, and they're gonna be faced with a Kibui who's on fire. She gets a triple, Kieran. It looks so easy on her screen.
And the pre-fire for the third as well is disgusting.
Yeah,
the round
beautiful.
isn't done yet. At 2v4, we've seen these be converted by TLP. That's how they ended the first half, for Christ's sakes. But just your mental has to be boomed after dying at the hands of Kibui in that way. Rifles should be retrieved here. But what's the win condition that you're looking at? Because util is pretty low. Stars are out just to try to cover your exit through C long, but there's already a player starting to push up towards A. You have a camera available. That's just about it for intel. Things are in a very desperate state of affairs, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, and I mean, we can see everything, so we know A's weak. So that's exactly the perfect call for Prism. They're going to be faced with a real difficult retake here, especially with Caroline getting the double. We're not even going to have a bomb planted or a spike planted. Here we are.
Look at this
7, but that push.
Pre-fire.
Oh! It's even cuter on the replay. Wow, that was really good.
She is a monster. Well, I think we have a technical timeout as well. So, you know, you're going to go ahead and have to maybe deal with a little bit of analysis about that one. Because, sure, it was a bonus, right? TLP were kind of, you know, they're at an innate disadvantage due to the fact that they were working with Spectres, faced up against the rifles almost all the way across the board for Vaughan. Again, we saw C-Long control kind of be the really big key determining factor in that. Sure, they had one player as fodder, but the other person holding long being able to collect 3 is huge. But from there, you know, again, what were the win conditions and how did that end up still going so smoothly for Vaughan, even though I think TLP kind of recognized what to do?
Yeah, and I mean, so far for me, the key in this match, yes, it has been about C-Long control, but on top of it, it has been about how Vaughan seem to have really good team cohesion and teamwork. They know what their players and what their teammates are doing and exactly what to do at what point. Their timing is almost impeccable. It was like that on their attacking side. And so far, on their only defending side round that we saw, it was pretty much the same. So I can't wait to see if that's going to be something that right now TLP Prism is not expecting, not able to counter on a map like Haven. I have to talk about how at the beginning of the day, it was TLP that came out on top. Right. They beat Vaughan on their map. On
13-8, right?
13-8. And right now, it's looking like a different situation where Vaughan is having that momentum. Even though the scoreline is 8-7, I feel like Vaughan has a slight advantage. I feel like in these really well, I would say, equipment round where everybody has like everything they need, Vaughan is coming out on top.
Right, yeah.
And that could be really dangerous. Yeah, exactly. That could be really, really dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, you know, on their defensive end, it didn't feel like TLP were necessarily shying away from, you know, going for specific set plays. Again, C-Long control has been just like the setting for the most bloody battles, apparently. But, you know, I'm wondering at what point do they try to fight for other big parts of the map? Do they... I mean, they don't have a Phoenix to worry about trying to farm that orb every single round, so do they try to fight towards A-Long to try to deny that Phoenix farming that orb for free? Like, I think they have a lot of potential ways to kind of pivot around and deal with these newfound issues, because it seems that, sort of like you mentioned, Vaughan, their cohesion is on point, and they're not afraid to kind of make these plays that TLP maybe were a little bit hesitant to do. Because when it comes to these even matchups, gun v guns, it really does seem like Vaughan are actually coming out on top, which is a far cry from what we saw earlier. This BO3 already not kind of panning out the way I thought it was.
Maybe for TLP coming out of that game versus CLG Red where they took 9 rounds away. We could talk about the fact that TLP has been on a little bit of a pause. They hadn't played for an hour. They might have like kind of gotten down from just waiting for that game to happen. And Vaughan is coming out of a win versus Fract. So maybe they're feeling a little hot and we have their opponents feeling a little cold. So maybe that little tech pause could even things out, as we are still waiting for our players to be ready in the server. But I told you it was gonna be a good game. I
know, right?
but it's delivering right now. I'm loving both teams in the way that they're showing up right now, because it doesn't feel like the scrappy games that we saw, maybe like
the pug style, yeah.
Yeah, like usually in these tournaments, I would say maybe like 6 months ago plus, teams that were a little less unknown or less known, it was kind of like a puggy style, like kind of scrappy game. But today we have two teams in this tournament in the lower bracket of this GSL format of the Night Sakura Cup, and we are getting some really nice gameplay, Kieran.
Yeah, it just goes to show that there's a lot of talent in women's Valorant. It's great to see
Yeah.
tournaments like this continue to run. I think this technical break might be a little bit more in-depth than we thought it was. We're going to be actually heading to a quick break. While you're doing that, though, highly recommend that you head over to beautyblender.com. If you use the code NIGHTS20, you can get 20% off your makeup. And now, personally, I'm not exactly the big makeup connoisseur myself, but hey, I'm just going to say, if I can get 20% off, I think now is maybe the time for me to start getting invested. We'll see you on the other side of this break after this tech pause. And we return, short little tech break just to make sure that everyone could get their internet issues ironed out. But I think it also kind of doubles as a nice little momentum killer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think Vaughan just being able to get away with that bonus when maybe has TLP shaken in the boots a little bit. But doesn't have Vaughan shaking the boots a little bit immediately as I was trying to toss over to you. 3 kills happen, and we're not even 10 seconds into this round, Steph. What in the world?
Yeah, I actually thought this could help TLP Prism a little bit, but then right away, Vaughan coming out on top of these 2 fights across the map. But let's see what TLP can do. There's still a lot of time in this round, right? A minute and 10 seconds to make something happen.
Good spot
but
from Kabui.
They're making a lot of noise, and that's causing Vaughan to kind of rotate one player back towards B, 2 player back towards B. So this is going to be a really difficult take for a TLP Prism.
Ooh. That smoke is actually really good to kind of block off Kabui from getting the 3K lineup. Still, she's able to find one from that position. Lots of pressure onto the default plant position as well from the Molotov, but Vaughan are staying true. And their rotates, it was definitely the right call for them. They've contested B site, and they've effectively forced off Miura, now in a 1v2, over towards C. And now that she's been cordoned off into this pretty uncomfortable state, she's going to have to really rely on her cooldowns here. She has a drone, recon dart about up now. There you have it. If she gets 1 kill, then she has Hunter's Fury, but she's not able to get into a comfortable position to even use that Hunter's Fury. She's going to play her gun. And it works out perfectly. 1v2 TLP, they even things up. Miara, she had to rely on her gun skill there. And thank God for her, she has a ton of it.
Yeah, I was scared because I thought she kind of cornered herself, but the only situation that really was not in favor of TLP was to rotate double on that spawn. She's able to swing and get these skills, so that was really well done. There's no way they expected her to be there, so she saves the round for TLP Prism, and it was a 3 versus 4, and now they have 4 ultimates ready. So
no charges left.
Nearly 5.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to use it right away here because we can see Vaughan is on a save. They hearing that Vaughan is on a save, so I would keep those for a little bit later. This means we could be looking at a 9-8 pretty quick for TL Prism.
Yep. Astralis has bomb here. She needs to get away or at least have someone to help her out when she eventually gets overwhelmed. There it is. Spike now in favor of Vaughan, or Vaughan, excuse me. They can run it back. They have a gun. This is very winnable from Vaughan. Don't get it twisted. Oh, Miara! Massive dink through the wall. Makes it from a scary round into a very, very easy one. Let's just go ahead and keep it at that. I was so concerned after that push towards C-Long and getting the spike down, but when Miara is going to be hitting bangers like that through the wall, I don't know why I was ever concerned.
Yeah, and they had no hesitation, right? The spike was down, and they didn't really say, hey, let's regroup, let's take our time, let's use our util. Hell no, they just ran back and they were like, oh, we forgot the spike, and they just like killed everybody. That's how it looked like in my screen. That's how I imagine them talking to each other, even though I know it's a little more complicated than that. Yeah, if it works, it works. So let's see what they're going to be doing with all of these ultimates here. I'm excited to see what we're going to do with it.
I'm really curious on this Odin buy from Arcane. Because I know a Haven can be pretty good for the Odin. There's some really neat wall bangable spots, but on attack, I don't really see it used all too often. Slower default from TLP. They have a little bit more pressure over towards A-Short, again, with that Odin in question. Orb has been picked up as well. I mean, TLP have really set themselves up for some solid success right now. Getting all the map control they could hope for and not losing a player in the process.
They seem to be liking that mid/B control as they're poking a little bit garage, seeing if they can catch someone off guard. But I do think we're going to go back to B with that Astro Wall, Kieran.
Oh, wait a second. I'm wondering if it's actually going to be a flank from this Astra. Bomb hasn't been quite committed in yet. Keep in mind, hasn't entered the site until Miara gets that kill. Then that's going to be comfortably in sight. Kabui can't do anything. She's trying to dance in between the wall. Unfortunately, it's not going to be the setting for her to farm a couple of kills. Excuse me. Keep in mind, keep an eye on that radar. Flank is still online, but she needs to come online soon. And oh God, Arcane, you've lined up 3. But it's all for naught! Kubo, he still finishes up the round, and Vaughan snatch it away at the last possible moment. And that is why you buy an Odin on Haven, apparently.
Oh my god. Oh my god. You guys did not hear our producer, the yell. And I do think that maybe Arcane thought that there was more people alive, because if she only knew there was only one jet, I think that she would have taken her time a
Posted.
little bit more to like she just committed that Odin to that spray down onto Kibui, but you know the spike wasn't defused at AF. There was still a lot of times in that round, and she kind of committed to that fight because she was like, maybe there's more. I don't know how many there's left. I didn't know how many I killed. Oh, that was great.
Oh, and it could have been such a good play from TLP as well. They just had to stay alive for a little bit longer, right? Release some of the pressure that was put on her. It's depressing, right? Think about what could have been. Kills for TLP not going their way so far, and in fact it's going to double down even worse as Caroline denies the spike plant once more. We hit the minute 10 mark and bomb was already ready to get planted. It just goes to show again, these rounds move so damn quickly. Not done yet. Vaughan eventually will lose one player, but where have you seen this story before? Vaughan keeping it up so strong. What are they waiting for now? Is what I'm keeping my eye on. Drone through, Arcane, no stars available. She needs to eventually commit to getting the spike planted, but it's going to probably come at the cost of her life. Kill has been eked out. Australis makes this round a bit more winnable, a little bit more comfortable.
30 seconds
but it's still
left.
a long shot. Spike, just about there.
One enemy
Off
remaining.
to deny, and
Spike
Becca is
down
able to
A.
once again punish the spike planter. I mean, the round, excuse me, considering how fast it started, this really goes to show why it's maybe a little bit more valuable to burn a bit more time at the end. We finally
10
crossed that
seconds left.
10-second mark. Australis left to try to do this in a 1v3. And won't have any luck of it whatsoever. She finds the first frag, but is swiftly traded out. Vaughan moved to 10.
Yeah, and these rounds, I think this is the 5th time in this game that I think the momentum kind of switches. Last round,
Right.
you know, even though Kibi was the winner of that defuse, Arcane kept it so much alive that I believe in Prism's kind of momentum or just kind of spirit going to this round.
Yeah.
But it was shut
Not
down
anymore.
pretty drastically, and now they are on a eco round. There's something that's been key here. Every time they went towards mid B, they've successfully planted, and they're playing these rounds really close into the post plant. So I think going there on their anti-eco, on their eco round is good.
It's a win condition for them, surely. As they try to enter the site, look to get that spike down, they're actually getting a really decent amount of control. I'm surprised Australis actually finds that kill. Where's that spike being planted, though? Hasn't been committed yet. Not quite. Are they trying to bring it back over to A? No, they're committing towards B.
Planted.
But again, it's a very heavy cost. So many lives are dropping. Australis keeping the dream alive with one kill, but she needs to do
player
more.
standing.
Arcane is not in a power position. And Australis, indeed, is doing the ring around the rosy, but I think Vaughan just win this 9 times out of 10.
And that defuse is going to happen pretty easily from Kibui. Shaw is hitting some shots here, almost close to an ace, but it wasn't enough. So not a thrifty here, but a close round. They're keeping the economy on point for Vaughan, because even though we're winning 3 rounds in a row, we're kind of broke here. We're going to have to drop for Kibui. If I'm not mistaken, Becca is going to have to give that gun away. Exactly. So look at the econ. You just need 1 round for TLP to force Vaughan into a save, to bring it to double digit, to potentially, you know, winning this map. So this game, it's still anyone's game to win here.
Yeah, it's scarily competitive still. Rotates coming quickly from Vaughan. They realize that TLP have loved playing it fast so far. Why would they try to change up the script? Australis coming in from both directions, eventually try to consolidate onto the site. They found 2 kills, and Bet Kabui, at least as she holds the corner, she isn't able to pop off as massively as she did before. Prism, just like you mentioned, Steph, are on the fast track to breaking the eco of Vaughan here, and I think at this point it has to be a save, especially since they got out the neural theft as well. Not bad, considering you haven't found any kills and all you've done is die.
Yeah, this is definitely a save here. This is also a situation of a kick in the nut for me, because, you know, Vaughan has been doing really well. Prism was kind of starting to lose some momentum, but then it kind of like was a fart in the water. Is that an expression that you guys say in English?
No,
Sometimes
but
we
I
say
want
that.
to now.
All right, you gotta see that. A fart in water is like, it's like not impressive, and it stinks, right? So instead of being a beautiful like big fart, it's like just like. So that's kind of what happened at C, right? There was 3 players holding. There was 3 players holding that site. And
I'm glad there's a timeout. You need to
happened.
explain yourself. Did you call it a big, beautiful fart?
Well, yeah.
You know what? I'll go with it. No, I understand. You know, I like the metaphor. It was kind of a, you know, a fart in water. Great. That yeah, that was a water fart right there. But Team Water Fart, you know, they're gonna go ahead and try to keep up this momentum, I suppose. I'm pretty sure TLP are not going to be happy with me nicknaming their team that, but
yeah, I mean, it was a great entrance.
I mean,
everything went right for them in that entrance. It could have been disastrous. They picked the site that Vaughan had 3 players in, but that split from Garage and C just worked out really well. And they came out on top of every single of their fights without losing a single member.
Right.
So the timeout being called at the perfect time, because Vaughan needs to think this through here. It's 10 to 11. We're broke. Most likely a 11-11 situation. What do we do?
Well, they're going to have that Bladestorm available for Kabubi, excuse me. They can maybe force a Spectre if they want to. I think it's just going to be pistols, light armor. This is not a done round. They're going to be stacking and really banking towards A. Look at this radar! This is ridiculous! There's all 5 players from the side of Vaughan right now over towards A, and TOP are stuck scared at the bottom of C long. A little bit of info would snuff this out entirely, and Australis ducks away before she's able to find anything. This could get messy very quickly, so I'm going to go ahead and hold on to this mic for now, because I'll be real. I think things are going to get real scary. Well, first face seems to be Kabui with a blade. She doesn't strike any blood. Warded away by the tripwire. 2 players will come and join the fight here. Then there's going to be push in through Garage at the same time that is going on. And look at this. It's a conga line in through Garage. Are you ready to count to 5? Let's do it together. There's first. There's actually 2. Maybe Vaughan don't know how to count. They're trying to count to 11 right now. They're trying to count to 12. Damn. This is unreal! What is happening? This is actually still staying even! 2v3! Miara's still on the bomb! Hunter's Fury to deny it, and eventually TLP win it out, but Vaughan got that so uncomfortably close, where if they stuck the bomb, they had a damn good shot!
Yeah, that was actually pretty scary, because when they got the kills into the site, you know, that Hunter's Fury saved the day, so good job for utilizing that as soon as Miara was able to do it, because it forced the defender not to be on a half defuse, right? If you get that spike to half defuse, this round is over for me. So that was really well done. That means we are at 11-11. So now this is getting very dangerous for Vaughan, because they need this round. I think OT is going to be really difficult for them to get.
Not impossible. Again, they have full guns. Momentum not in their favor. Lots of ults as well for TLP to use. They have plenty of win conditions. Seekers being one of them will be used over towards C. It's countered really hard in part from Caroline. Where in the world did that lineup come from? Okay, well now things have changed in the blink of an eye. TLP on the back foot. Still have that Astral Wall available, that Cosmic Divide, as well as a Bladestorm from Astralis. But what I think they're going to try to do is set up Astralis for success here, see if she can get a lurk, and then they're going to try to tuck tail and run towards the A as soon as possible. Smoke's going down. Arcane is going to be able to keep those 2 vital entryways from Vaughan blocked off.
Yeah, I want to be in a post-plant station for TLP.
Oh, no, she needed
Astralis,
that.
though. Yeah, in a station, she needs to kill.
Oh, no.
Or she's gonna have to regroup as fast as she can as the Cosmic Divide gets placed. Oof, tough round for TLP Prism here.
They can just wait too. lockdown making things even more uncomfortable. This is going to go down faster than the Cosmic Divide. So yeah, they need to get out of range ASAP.
One
Jump
enemy
through.
remaining.
They're effectively cordoned off site. Caroline taps a bomb, and you thought this was going to be uncomfortable for Vaughan, but right now it looks like they have already guaranteed overtime.
Yeah.
And with a flawless round, they've moved themselves onto map point. TLP,
Match
they are
point.
left wondering what went wrong. Where did that even start?
Caroline at long C getting the double and not getting traded. And it was the first time I think that we went like kind of straight up long C without having pressure in garage. And I think that might have been key here. Caroline was not able to kind of had free reign here. And we have to also call that Vaughan is the fast rotating team. As soon as they got
Right.
contact, as soon as a couple of utilities was dropped, you saw everybody go to C. Like even our A player dipped their side. So
Oh
and
God.
yeah, as I'm talking, it's not in the ends of 2 players on TLP Prism, and that's going to be a really tough task to handle. There's only been 5 seconds in that round. It's a 2 versus 5.
This is why I'm not envious of observers. I don't know, it's just unrealistic to expect them to catch all of that. We finally crossed the minute 10 mark just about now. And it's a 2v5 like you mentioned. Some utility wasted from Vaughan, sure. But I mean, this is going to take a monumental effort. A rotate in through garage, there's 2 people waiting. They're going to hear this information. Kathleen, I think, might even peek as soon as the smoke goes down. This nebula, excuse me. And there's also 1 player, Sweet Caroline, waiting on top of the logs. You know what they say, Omen never looked so good. And 1 kill for her, another flawless round. Map 1